Once upon a time, in a prosperous village called Durgapur, there lived a wealthy landlord named Bhupati. His agricultural endeavors had made him the richest man in the village, and his mansion stood grander than any other in the region. Bhupati had a son named Gajapati, a curious and enthusiastic young man. One day, Gajapati approached his father with excitement, telling him about the grand festivals that were soon to take place in the city. He suggested they visit the city together and witness the celebrations. Bhupati, realizing that it had been a long time since he had last traveled to the city, agreed without hesitation. The next day, father and son set out on their journey, marveling at its splendor and the vibrant, festive atmosphere. On the third day, they came across a magnificent mansion, its grandeur surpassing anything Gajapati had ever seen. The sheer size and elegance of the structure left him awestruck. He eagerly inquired about the owner of the mansion, stopping a passerby to ask. The man informed them that the mansion belonged to Manikya Varma, the wealthiest man in the city. As soon as Bhupati heard the name, he was momentarily lost in thought. Could it be the same Manikya Varma who had once been his childhood friend? The thought lingered, stirring old memories. His son, noticing his reaction, pressed him for details. Bhupati then recounted the tale of his past. He spoke of how in his youth he and Manikya Varma had been close friends. Back then, they had no great wealth and survived on small jobs. At the edge of their village stood a ruined palace, once belonging to a powerful landlord. Every evening after work, the two friends would gather there, seeking solace in its eerie solitude. One day, Manikya had voiced his curiosity about the abandoned palace. Bhupati had explained that the palace had once been home to a wealthy landlord whose entire family had perished when lightning struck, destroying the structure. Only the landlord himself had survived, as he had been away in the city at the time. Upon returning, he had lost his sanity, overwhelmed by grief. From that day forward, he had wandered near the ruins, calling out to passers-by, offering them gold. Fearful of him, the villagers avoided the area, some even hurling stones at him. Manikya, however, had been intrigued. He had suggested they approach the old man, reasoning that if he truly had gold, they might be able to obtain some. If not, they could simply leave. With curiosity guiding them, they had befriended the man, regularly visiting him and engaging in conversations. One fateful day, they had arrived to find the old man on the verge of death. Filled with pity, they had rushed to bring him water. Gulping down the liquid with difficulty, the old man had gathered the last of his strength to reveal a long-kept secret. The gold he had spoken of was real. He had buried it beneath a neem tree behind the ruined palace. With those words, he had taken his final breath. A few days later, Bhupati and Manikya had secretly dug beneath a neem tree and, to their astonishment, discovered a chest filled with gold. The old man had spoken the truth. Overwhelmed with gratitude, they had decided to divide the treasure equally. Manikya had then proposed that they travel to the city together and start a jewelry business. Bhupati, however, had declined. He loved the peace of village life and wished to use his share of the gold to purchase farmland and become a landlord. Since buying land in their village would arouse suspicion, he had chosen to move elsewhere. Agreeing to go their separate ways, the two friends had parted, each pursuing his own path. Hearing the story, Gajapati felt frustration build within him. He realized that while his father had remained in a village, Manikya Varma had gone on to become an immensely wealthy businessman. Anger flared within him as he wondered why his father had not made the same choice. Without holding back, he accused Bhupati of making a grave mistake, believing that if his father had chosen business over farming, they too would be living a life of luxury. Bhupati, taken aback by his son's harsh words, felt deep sorrow. Manikya Varma, noticing his old friend's distress, approached with a knowing smile. He reassured Bhupati, explaining that Gajapati's frustration stemmed from inexperience. He promised to make the young man understand. That evening, after a lavish meal, Manika gently addressed Gajapati, explaining the nature of business and the risks it carried. Unlike farming, which provided stability, business was akin to gambling. Success was never guaranteed. His ship wiping out his wealth. Undeterred, his brother had then invested in the timber business, only to lose everything in a devastating fire. Manikya himself had been fortunate, but he had seen firsthand how business could destroy lives just as easily as it could create fortunes. Farming, he explained, was a different kind of wealth. Even in times of loss, the land remained. Crops could fail, but fields could be replanted. Business, on the other hand, could ruin a man overnight, leaving him with nothing. Hearing this, Gajapati experienced a profound realization. Shame washed over him as he recognized his ignorance. He turned to his father and apologized sincerely, acknowledging the wisdom in Bhupati's decision. He expressed his desire to return to their village, appreciating the life they had. The next day, before leaving, Bhupati approached Manikyavarma once more, asking about the brother he had spoken of. Manikya smiled knowingly, revealing that the story of his brother had been fabricated to help Gajapati understand the truth. Business, he insisted, was a game of personal gain, while farming was a noble profession that benefited society. With that, the two old friends shared a hearty laugh before bidding each other farewell. Bhupati and Gajapati then set off for their village, their hearts lighter and their minds at peace, embracing the life they had chosen with newfound clarity.